Hello, AP artists. So today we're going to spend some more time working on our expressive self-portraits. So for this, you want to have your expressive photo of yourself. You can see I have mine pulled up on my computer here. I also have a printout of my drawing. If you have a printer at home, it's definitely useful to print out your picture to draw from that. You can see when I have a full sheet of paper compared to my image, it's a little bit easier to compare the two and draw from this photo. But if you don't have a printer, you can also use your image on your computer like I have here, or you can have your image on your cell phone. So I'm going to go ahead and get started on this. I'm going to show you two different ways for starting off your drawing. So the first way is if you have a printout, you can actually trace your image onto your paper. So you can start by just kind of loosely tracing the lines. If I hold my photo up to my window, you can actually see through the paper pretty well. And I can start tracing those forms of my face. This is going to help jumpstart your drawing and make things go a little bit faster. You can also do this by tracing from your computer screen. So I'll show you how to do that as well. Okay, so if you do not have a printout of your image like I do here, another thing that you can do is actually use your computer to trace your image. When you do this, you have to be really careful though, and it's a little bit tricky. I'm going to show you how I do this on my computer. So the first thing that I would do is zoom in, and I want to make it so that this drawing fits onto my piece of paper. So I'm going to figure out, obviously the whole image can't fit on the screen at once, but I can either draw my image a little bit smaller on my paper. If you want to do that, that's fine. Or I could zoom into the most difficult area to draw, which would be the face, and just trace that. So I'm going to show you how to do it this way. So I'll trace from here. You want to make sure that your brightness on your computer is turned all the way up. And if you have a window in your space like I do, you want to put a shade over that or go to a darker location so that you can really see through your screen onto your paper. I can see this pretty well though, well enough to make my tracing. So I'm going to go ahead and lay my paper over my image, make sure that brightness is up, and then I can start carefully. All right guys, sorry, my video got cut off, so we're going to try to do this again. I'm going to try to hold up my drawing to my computer screen and match the lines that I had already drawn. Okay, and then I'll start going back in to trace some of these facial features. And you don't have to trace like I'm doing right now, but for a lot of you, it is going to save you a lot of time and make it easier for you to do this drawing more quickly. This drawing is due on Friday, so whatever time savers you can use, like this tracing, will definitely be helpful. All right, and let me get my eyes in there. Doesn't have to be perfect. Just want to get generally where things are. Can always go back and adjust things later if I need to. All right, so we got our face, and then I can move the image up to get the bottom part of the drawing. So I'll line up my chin and my hand there to where I drew it, and then I'll finish my wrist. And then I can also finish off the top part of my head by just moving up that image and then tracing what I didn't have before. Okay, so now you have a really good tracing, and once I've done that, I can start laying in these values. So I see that I have some midtones here. Go ahead and start laying in those shadows. And when we build our shading, you want to do this by just rubbing your pencil back and forth. You can start lightly and then build up darker values. Another thing that you want to do is work on the whole piece at once. So I don't want to hyper focus on one area. I want to work on the whole piece at the same time. So this is obviously a really, really dark value in here where the shadow is. So I can press pretty hard with my pencil to get that value in. If you're drawing on a table, you may want to put another piece of paper under your drawing so that you don't pick up the texture of the table or the surface that you're drawing on. So I'm going to draw some lines for my hair, and then I'm going to build those dark values. Okay, let's get into the face. So when I look here, I'm not going to use any harsh outlines to draw my facial features. I'm going to try to build my facial features using shading. So I see on my lips, I have this shadow here. I'm going to go ahead and lay in that shadow. And the value of my lips is sort of like a lighter medium gray. So I'm going to fill that in. There's a shadow underneath my lips where the underside of my mouth is making a shadow where my chin is pressing into my hand. And that shadow goes right here into my hand and right into the corner of my mouth. You can see that the value of my upper lip is a lot darker than the value of my lower lip. I need to make the shadow on the bottom a little bit darker, so I'm going to do that. And then right here where my fulcrum is, I'm going to lightly draw that and then draw in the shadow. So you can see right underneath my nose here, there's a shadow cast from my nose that is falling onto this area of my face with the fulcrum. This whole side of my face here is in shadow, so I'll also start shading that in. So notice how when I'm doing this, I'm just building up the features of my face with shadow. With shading, I mean. I'm going to make this area here a light gray. And then now onto my nose, my nostril. All right, now onto my nose. You can see that I have a really sharp highlight here. So I'll make sure to leave that area white. And then I'll build up some lighter grays around that highlight on my nose. And then if you need to, you can always go back in with an eraser to add that highlight back in if you've made it too gray. And then it looks like I need to add a little bit more value, a little bit more shading to my bottom lip here. So I'm going to go back in and do that. Your hair is actually a form, so don't draw your hair one individual hair at a time, because of course we have hundreds of hairs on our heads. You'll be sitting there all day drawing individual hairs. It takes too much time. So try to look more at the value that you see and block in that area just like you would do with your skin. So I'm blocking that in, and then I can go back in with a couple of lines to add texture and to show that this is my hair.